Hello and welcome children to today's class. In this session we will be discussing few programs based on arrays. So first program. This program is from your textbook page number 220. The first one, Unsolved Programs on Single and Double Dimensional Arrays. First question. Question is, write a program in Java to store 20 numbers, even and odd numbers in a single dimensional array. Calculate and display the sum of all even numbers and odd numbers separately. So I think question is clear. You have to receive an array, mixture of even and odd numbers, and we need to find out the sum of even numbers separately and sum of odd numbers separately. So let us see the coding. And there is an array, that is n array, and the maximum it can store 20 elements. Then next is to store the even numbers sum. Even is equal to 0 is initialized, and to store the odd number sum, odd is equal to 0. Then then we are asking the user to enter the 20 numbers, and it is received in n array using the for loop. Then again we are starting with the for loop, and if n mod I n of I mod 2 is equal to 0. N of I means the first element. I is 0 here. So first element mod 2 is equal to 0. That means if it is an even number, then we are adding n of I, that element, to the even. So even is already 0. So even plus is equal to n of I means even is equal to 0 plus n of I, that is the first element. So if this condition is false, then that element will be odd number. So that particular number will be added to odd. So odd plus is equal to n of I. Then again I plus plus, it will happen with the next element. So second element I will be 1. So 1 means in the array the second element. So n of I mod 2 is equal to 0. So we will be having a checking with the second element. So this will happen for the next 20 elements. So once the 20 elements is being done, then all the even numbers will be added to the even, and all the odd numbers will be added to the odd variable. Then finally we will be printing the sum of even numbers is equal to even, and sum of odd numbers is equal to odd. So no syntax errors in this coding. So we will run and check the program. We are running the program. Void main, enter 20 numbers. So I am entering 20 numbers, which is a mixture of uh, odd and even numbers. So we'll see what is the output. So 20 numbers are entered, and here you can see the sum of even numbers is 432 and sum of odd numbers is equal to 413. So this is even numbers are being totaled, and here odd numbers are being totaled. So this is the output. So the next question is program 3 from page number 220. So here I had given the program 3 itself for the class name so that you can refer. So the question is, write a program in Java to store 10 numbers including positive and negative numbers in a single dimensional array, and display all the negative numbers followed by the positive numbers without changing the order of the numbers. So I think the question is clear. We need to receive 10 elements to an array, which is a mixture of positive and negative numbers, and we need to list out all the negative numbers first and then all the positive numbers. So let us see the coding. So here n array is used to store the 10 elements. The maximum size is given here 10, and we are asking the user to enter the next 10 negative or positive numbers. So that will be received using for loop, and then again for loop is used for I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, if n of I is less than 0. So whenever a number is less than 0, then it will be a negative number. So we are listing out the negative numbers first. So we are having a checking from the first element till the last element, and we are fetching out all the negative numbers and printing it out. So system.out.print n of I plus a comma. So for element will be printed and a comma will be printed here. And then next thing is we need to check for the positive numbers. So for I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So if n of I is greater than 0, that means if it is positive numbers, then the same way we are listing out the positive numbers there. So this is the coding, and we'll check the program. Program 3, void main, negative or positive numbers. So 10. So I'm entering few negative numbers and positive numbers, 10 numbers. So here you can see that all the negative numbers are printed first, that is minus 5, minus 78, minus 32, minus 89, minus 21. Then all the positive numbers 10, 69, 25, then 25 and 21 without changing the order. Next question is question 4 from page number 221. The question is, write a program in Java to store 20 numbers in a single dimensional array and display the numbers which are prime. So we need to accept 20 elements to an array and list out only the prime numbers from the list. So that is a program. So here I have given the size of the array, that is maximum 20 elements. And here I am doing it for 10 elements because of the issue with entering so many numbers. So only 10 numbers will be received here. So you need to change only here the limit you can change to 20. Okay. For I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, 10 elements will be received in n array. Then we are listing out the prime numbers from that list. So again I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Then f is equal to 0 will be initialized here, that is factor. Then for j is equal to 1, j less than n, or j less than or equal to n of I, j plus plus. So here we are checking for the element n of I. That is first element, then the second element, next then the third element, like that we will be checking for all the elements. So j will be starting from 1 until that number we are just traversing, or we are just checking. So n of I mod j is equal to 0. If this condition is true, then f plus plus. So if this condition this condition will be true only for the numbers which is prime, because from that number till n of I, that from 1 till that number we are just checking like whether it is divisible. So for prime numbers only 1 and that number, this particular condition will be true. So f plus plus. So f will be 2 for the prime numbers and f will be more than 2 for the non-prime numbers. So then we are checking that here. So if f is equal to 2, we are printing out that particular number. So this is what the coding for checking out whether a number is prime from the array list. And then we'll run and check the program. Void main and enter 10 elements. So I'm entering 10 elements here. 71, 89, 17, 26, 5. So here the prime numbers from the list are 23, 5, 71, 89, 17 and again 5. Next program is program 11 from page number 222. The question is, write a program to store 20 numbers in a single dimensional array and then display only those numbers that are perfect squares. So you know what are perfect squares. When we are finding out the square root, then it should give a round figure. So that is known as perfect square. So let's see the coding. So n array, we are receiving the elements in the n array, and then sq is there to find out the square root. And here also I am entering only 10 elements. So I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, n of I is equal to sc dot next int. Then perfect squares are again for I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, we are finding out the square root. So sq is equal to math dot square root of n of I. We are finding out the square root of the number, and then if sq, that is the square root, minus math dot floor of sq. So for the perfect squares, sq minus math dot floor of sq will be same. It will give the result 0. But for the non perfect squares, the square root will be having some points, and so this sq will be having some points, and the math dot floor of sq will be like a round of figure. So when we are subtracting it, you will be getting some points, not 0, it will not be resulting in 0, but some floating value will be there. So if it is a perfect square, then the difference of sq and math dot floor of sq will be 0. So if that is 0, then we are printing the numbers, otherwise we are not printing it. So this is the code. Then we'll run and check the program. Program 11, void main, 10 elements. So I'm entering perfect squares 36, again 27, 81. So here in this list, the perfect squares are 25, then 36, and then 81. So rest all the numbers are not perfect squares. With this program, your today's session is completed. I hope all the 4 programs which I explained in this video is clear for you. So practice all the other programs which is based on single dimensional array from the textbook. Then only it will be more, arrays will be more clear for you. Thank you.